Hey guys, it's KJ from Forward Life Coaching. I'm actually here today with Brian Wells. He is the coach at Parkland High School in Winston-Salem. And so, Brian, it's another series of KJ stories with former NCAA athletes talking about their stories of triumph. So today we're going to talk to Brian Wells about some of the things he's doing and his story to where he is today. So story about where he is today. So let me tell you a little bit about Brian because he is a superstar athlete. So Brian, he is a 3-sport letterman at Parkland High School, or was. He played football, track, and lacrosse. I have to tell you my lacrosse story game. And so while there, he also made first team All Piedmont Triad Conference offensive lineman. Okay. He was the honorable mention North Carolina at All Northwest for the All Northwest region. Okay, cool. He please forgive me. He's all 4A conference and all Southwest region. Okay.
Yes. A little confusing.
But he's a lot of alls, guys. He's a lot of alls right now. So he played in the East-West game. Am I correct? Okay. Yes. Then after high school, he decided to go be a heel topper, and he went to Liberty West University in West Virginia. Yep. So, yeah, I definitely want to hear about West Virginia. I have a friend who was telling me a little bit about West Virginia. Then at Liberty West, the reason why he chose Liberty West is because they were the highest scoring team in the country in 2010. And if you're gonna go, you might as well go with the best, right? Also, Liberty West is a charter member of the NCAA Division II Mountain East Conference. Midway in between, he transferred. He transferred to Elizabeth City State University. And while there, week 7, he was a week 7 offensive lineman of the week. He was all conference. Again, another all. He holds a school record for the least amount of sacks allowed. He was invited to 6 different bowl games, but he attended 2. Were they all at the same exact time?
No, there was actually like different months. But I stopped going to them so I could train for the next thing.
All right, don't tell us. Don't tell us. You can't keep nothing. Some folks just gotta tell everything. So then he attended the regional combine. I actually saw your video at the regional combine, and I saw the jump and everything. Yeah, I was like, go get it. So then in 2018, he signed to play in the Indoor Arena Football League. And today, once again, like I said, he is coaching at Parkland High School, his alma mater, right?
Yes,
So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about everything. I want to talk to you about your journey, your exciting journey as an independent thinker. You know that song, Frank Sinatra, I Did It My Way?
Yeah, a little bit, right. Yeah.
I Did It My Way. You know he wrote that song thinking about you, Brian Wells. That was it. It's like, I'm just foretelling Brian Wells is on the way. So, yeah. Brian, tell me about growing up in Winston-Salem State. My mother is a Ram. My mother's a Ram. My godmother's a Ram. My uncle's a Ram. So I know you were in Ram country. Tell me about growing up in Winston-Salem. What was it like?
It's pretty, I honestly love Winston-Salem, obviously, because I came back. Winston-Salem is all around. At that time, Winston-Salem, they was winning like a whole bunch of championships. So everybody was like all about Winston-Salem State. And that even for a brief moment, they went up to, in 2008-ish, 2009, they went up to D1. So everybody was really like all about Winston-Salem State University and like how great they were and everything like that. But at
what about that other school in Winston-Salem?
Wake Forest?
Yes. What was it like? I mean, you grew up in a college town.
Yeah, I did. They actually, so Winston-Salem State is right down the street from my house. Like it's 5 minutes away. You can hear the stadium, all the football games from my house. Like, yeah, and I live real close to Winston-Salem State. And then Wake Forest is on the other side of town, but we also used to get Pop Warner games. So if you play Pop Warner, sometimes they would give out tickets. So we used to go to Wake Forest games all the time as well. So it's
Wow,
really
wow.
nice.
So, okay, so for the next Winston State game, I can park at your house for free. I don't have to worry about parking.
I mean, you're not going to see anything, but you can probably hear it. Yeah.
Okay, I just want to know. I have a place to park. So what
Yeah.
was it like growing up there? Were you, I mean, when did you fall in love with football? And I mean, were you watching the sports and saying, look, one day I want to be like this person that plays for Winston State, or I want to be with this person, be like this person that plays for Wake Forest. I mean, what were you, I guess you were playing Pop Warner. So what was it like growing up being surrounded in this sports environment? What were you thinking?
Well, I think it mainly started with, so I have three older siblings, and two of them were cheerleaders for South Fork Panthers, a Pop Warner team, local Pop Warner team, and just watching with my dad, watching like since I was little, watching like I know they was cheerleading and stuff, but I was always more entertained with watching the football games and watching it with him. And Thanksgiving we would watch it together. So I think that really started the actual love for playing football. Just it was just something I could always think back, remembering my dad. So that's probably what really started it.
And
The love.
so did your dad sign you up for football, or did you ask to play football, or how did that happen?
So actually, I think it was my sisters. Um, they signed me up because they knew I wanted to play. Because my dad wasn't really around, but he was around. But so they was well, I come from a split family. So he was around a lot, but at the same time, when it came to like signing up for stuff, he wasn't really there. Um, and he also passed away when I was 7. So yeah. So my sisters always was like, if you really want to play, then you need to go out here. Like you need to come out here. So they signed me up. They was there for me running up the hill, doing workouts and stuff like that. So yeah. So it was really my sisters, I would say.
Wow, that is awesome. So you're playing, so this is Pop Warner that you're playing, right? When you're like 6 years
Mhm.
old. So you're
Yeah.
playing Pop Warner, you're 6 years old. What at any particular point in time are you saying like, I can do this. I got this game. This might be all right.
Yes. There was it was a one random practice where like the majority of the kids I would say weren't there. And so it was like a set group of us that were kind of sort of, I would say kind of sort of better than the rest of them, but we were still there and we got to go up to the higher class league or whatever. And we got to play against them and play with them for a little while. And I still did all right. So I was like, oh, this might work out. Like it's not too bad.
I can do this. I can do this.
Yeah.
And then you tell your sisters, race me now. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
I got you. I'm ready. I'm ready. So
Yeah.
you're doing this, and so then you progress to, I guess, middle school or high school, and you try lacrosse and
Yeah. So actually I played a lot of sports. So in the Pop Warner leagues, there's a weight limit. So you're not allowed to play like at a certain level, like you can't play certain levels at a certain weight. So I would always have to like lose like 5, 10 pounds. I was over a little bit. And at one point I got kind of tired of it. I got lazy and I got tired of like having to do it every year. So from there we started playing like different sports like basketball and soccer. Um, so just to keep me active and pretty much versatile in different sports. Um, and I think that honestly probably helped me become the athlete I am today. Honestly, if I didn't play other different kinds of sports, I would be just like a big block. um, so I think that also helped me. Looking back at it, that probably helped me become more versatile in different kinds of sports and everything like that.
So,
I think,
I'm sorry, help me out. What do you mean like a big block? You mean you would have gained weight or you would have
yeah,
been stiff?
I think
Okay.
I would have probably, yeah, probably gained weight, got bigger, like a bad type of bigger, like I don't want to say a slob, but a slob. I think if I just stopped playing football and then just like didn't want to play anything else, I think I would have been out of like a real bad state.
Well, I can tell you, as a mother of three children who love to eat, I know your mother was happy that you're playing other sports because I tell you, my sons went from eating like one Big Mac to three Big Macs. I'm like, what
Yeah.
is going on? So that crazy growth spurt when you just eat, and it just seems
Yeah.
like you can't get enough. And I'm like, what is going on? Because somebody's got to pay the grocery bill, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
somebody's gonna do that. So you're in high school, you're playing these three different sports. What made football stand out? Was it the memories of you and your dad? Was it because it was a sport you started off with, or what was it that made football stand out amongst the three?
I loved it. Like I started playing football again, and then I just like loved it. Like I was also the best. My best sport was football, and a little bit. And what made me want to play it even more a little bit was because my mom didn't like me playing football. She wanted me to be in the band. So so that made me that kind of pushed me to want to play football even more. Um she probably doesn't know that, but
But what did she want you to play? I told you you were an independent thinker, but what did she want you to play?
she wanted me to play the saxophone in the band.
Wow, did you ever play?
Yeah, I played the saxophone in throughout middle school.
So you were pretty good.
I was decent. I was all right.
All right. So are we gonna hear a saxophone sometime? A song?
I don't know about that. It's been a while.
Well,
Yeah, it's
well,
been a while.
sometimes they say you never lose it. You never lose it. So, but you're in high school, and once again, like I said, you're independent thinker. You don't want to. You're not necessarily going to do the band. You're going to do football, and
Mm.
you're going to. What are we doing when we're looking at
So-
colleges? Oh, I'm
all
sorry. Go
right.
ahead.
No, you're good. So yeah, so I was playing football. I didn't honestly. Um, every kid wants to like go professional and everything, but at that time, this school had just came off like a state championship, and so I came to the school and I see all these bigger guys around me and everything like that. So I'm like, I'm not too sure about if I'll be able to play professionally or anything like that. But I know I'll be able to like at least do good for myself. And so like I've seen like multiple kids go like big schools like South Carolina. I think we had some go to Wake Forest, ECU, Appalachia State. So I've seen all these bigger guys at the school. So I was like, oh, I'm not too sure. And then the head coach called me in, I think, um, going into my junior year. No, going into my senior year of high school, the senior year's school, and like I started having all these schools calling me out of classes and stuff like that. And he started telling me like, hey, I mean, it looks like you got a shot. Like if you keep doing well, like keep working hard, coming out to school, doing all the practices and stuff like that, then I mean, you could go somewhere, you could get a scholarship. And so from there on, like it became even more serious, especially since I live um, like right down the block. I would walk home, come to the school, work out, and then walk back home. So
How many hours a day would you say you're working out?
in high school,
Hmm.
um, I would say at least about 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours. I would work out.
Every day.
Yeah,
And so was this solely for football or was this for other sports as well? Was this solely
it was
football?
main, it was mainly football. Yeah.
And so off season, were you still doing 2, 3 hours a day or were you just kind of chilling?
I wouldn't do three. I wouldn't do the like after school workouts. So I signed up for weightlifting during school. So I had that hour. And then after school, I did a little bit of working out with the football team. But then I also had to go to lacrosse practice right after that.
Okay. So you were still doing football and lacrosse in high school.
Hmm.
So I always just wondered, like when these schools are calling you, do you think it's more of a mental game or a physical game that you have to put on to get prepared for what comes next? Like, are you sitting back and rehearsing mentally what you have to get done as well as physically? Like, is there a mindset change?
Uh, well, my thought was always like, oh, now I have to get bigger. Like, so like, I guess you would say from my freshman, sophomore year, I would say I weighed like two 220-ish, I want to say.
Mhm.
And then but my um junior, senior year, I was 280,
Oh my God,
290.
you gained 60 pounds in one
Yeah,
year?
yeah.
60 pounds in one year? See, that's what I'm saying. You need to buy your mother something big for Mother's Day. Because that doggone grocery bill, I know, was killing her.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
So getting bigger, I know that you're doing the exercise and the weightlifting, but is there a strategic planning component? Like, are you saying by this month I need to gain 10 pounds, by this month I need to gain 20 pounds? Are you mapping it out or are you just doing?
Like I was just doing it. Like I didn't even realize what I was gaining until like the
So your
season
pants got
came.
tight.
Yeah, pretty much.
So your
Yeah.
shirt got tight.
Yeah. And everybody was saying like, "Oh, you bigger now, like you walking around a little bigger." I was like, I mean, I don't feel it. I don't feel any difference. I was just putting in the work, like day in and day out. I was just doing it. And I guess people started seeing stuff. I mean, seeing the differences, saying things, but I wasn't really. mm. I was just kept to myself, pretty much.
So you're keeping the schedule. You're doing this 3 hour days by yourself, 2, 3 hours a day by yourself.
I mean, I would have. Well, I mean, he passed away his first year in college, but my one of my best friends at the time, he would come after school with me. He would work out with me. We even signed up for weightlifting together. He was working out during school, so that was great. So I had him to work out with.
Hold on
Um,
for 1 second. Hold on. Okay, I'm sorry. So you said you were working out and
mhm,
this was your senior year. I mean, you're during high school and you're working out with a friend,
mhm.
right? And are you working out daily or monthly or?
Daily, like we would work out daily every day after school, um, and then I would have my lacrosse practice, so I would catch a ride with somebody else. And then he was a preacher's son, so he would go to church right afterwards.
Yes, yes, yes.
So we
What
would
kind of
just
preacher? What kind of preacher?
um
Well, I tell you, my
it's the
grandfather was Pentecostal, and I'm telling you, they'd be in church from 9 a.m. to
oh yeah
2:30 p.m. So if he was Pentecostal, I know he had work to do.
oh yeah. I mean, he was there faithfully. Like sometimes he would even have to come to school all dressed up, ready for church. I was like, "Hey, man."
The duty of being a preacher's child and a preacher's grandchild. I'm telling you, my
Yeah.
grandpa was no joke. They were in there, and everybody it was Blues Brothers. I don't know if you ever saw the Blues Brothers, but everybody got
Mhm.
happy. Everybody got happy. You didn't get happy, they were gonna keep going. They were gonna
Yeah.
keep going until you got happy. So so you're in high school, you're doing all this work and everything, and the colleges are starting to come to you, what
Mhm.
is going on as in your mind as far as college selection? Like what's standing out?
Um, the biggest thing I want to say was, well, the first thing I was wanting, and I actually got to go on an official visit to the school, was Appalachian State, because my sisters went there and I went up there with her. I stayed with her overnight one time just to like see how school was. Like she took me to her class. The teacher let me sit in her class with her. That was pretty cool. And I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Like, I think I might like this school. So, like, that was my, before any other school, like, that's the school I wanted to go to. But unfortunately, I didn't get any taller in high school until later on in college. Um, so, like, from there, I was just thinking, like, what's the best school I can go to football wise? Like, I don't know why, but at the time, I was thinking, like, what's the best school football wise I can go to? And like I would look up like what the school was doing at the time, how well they was doing, what the positions looked like if they had a bunch of um, I guess you would say a bunch of sophomores that was like doing amazing. Um, I would be like, I mean, I would kind of sort of put that school to the side and come back to them later on. But the first thing I would be looking at is how well is that school doing? Am I going to get exposure by going to this school? And so like West Liberty was me looking at West Liberty. I was like, they was on national TV. My first year there, they was actually on national TV. So like that was the school I was looking at. That was like the number one school I wanted to go to.
Did your workout buddy go to that school too, or did he go to a different school?
So he was actually a little bit taller than me. So he went to it's not North. It's a law school, HBCU law school.
Central?
It's up in DC, I want to say. Maryland, DC, Maryland. He went to a different school.
Okay.
Oh, Hampton. He went to Hampton. I guess it
Hampton,
was
okay.
not law school, but he went to Hampton.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he went to Hampton and you went to West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Liberty West. And
Mm-hmm.
so you're at Liberty West. What is it like? What is it like? You get on campus, because we always have those expectations, but you
Yeah.
get on campus. What is it like your freshman year? What are you doing?
So this was the time when school, like colleges, universities could still have you for like months before kids came back. So I was actually there like I want to say early July. And school didn't start until August. So we was there pretty much a month ahead of time. And honestly, I kept to myself. I didn't go out. I didn't go out with anybody. I didn't hang out or anything like that. So I was just to myself, honestly. Like I mean, school was nice and everything. School was beautiful, but I stuck to myself, stayed in my room. Um, I was nice to kids and whatnot. I talked to everybody like during practices, but after that, there's nothing. I was just I was just there, honestly. And I want to say during that first month I was there, I lost 30 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Were you trying to lose 30 pounds or you just lost it?
I just lost it. Like I would just I'll go to the calf like 3 times a day, like I'm supposed to. Um, we would have workouts twice a day. But like some of the times I would eat, I would just be eating a salad and just going back to the room and just nothing. Like I wasn't trying to lose weight, but it was just happening. And I didn't even notice it until I think it was like near the end of camp, whenever we had to weigh ourselves again. I didn't notice how much I lost.
And how did that impact your game?
At that time, it was a lot. I mean, it made me a lot better. It made me a lot more agile, honestly. So I mean, it helped. Because at the same time, their weightlifting program, their weightlifting coach and slash offensive line coach,
Mhm.
he's amazing. Um, he's gonna get you in the best shape, physically, and mentally. So like, if you're not the biggest guy, he's gonna teach you how to be the best guy still at a smaller, like being smaller. So like, it surprisingly, it didn't hurt my game. It didn't hurt me. He actually made me a lot better.
Yeah. That mental and that physical again, the mental and the physical again. So you come home and your best friend comes home, right? From Hampton.
No, he didn't. Um, well, he came home. He came home first, and then I came home.
And when he saw you, did he say, "Man, you lost weight"?
Yeah, yeah, he
He
did.
said, "There goes Tiny Tim."
Yeah. Yeah. He actually we were supposed to hang out one time, and but I think it was over the Thanksgiving break. That's the first time we actually got to go back home.
Huh?
He had passed away from sleep insomnia.
When did he pass away?
What year was it? It was 2010 November. I want to say November 2010.
Before
Um,
Thanksgiving.
yeah. Yeah, that was tough. Me and one of my friends went to his funeral. That was real tough seeing that and seeing his family and everything. Uh, yeah, that was a tough one.
Was that at college or was that, did he pass away at college or did he pass away at home?
I mean, he was in college, but he passed away at home.
While he was home.
Yeah.
While he was home.
Uh,
Did you, so he passed in his sleep?
hmm Like he didn't like it wasn't as known back then about sleep insomnia. So like they didn't even know he had it. Um, Man, that was crazy. And his brother actually found him. Um, yeah, his brother actually is the one that found him. That was tough. Um, I've seen it. I mean, I've seen his brother. I saw his brother a few times. They went to school together because they weren't too far ages apart. So they went to high school together. So I met his brother a few times. He seemed like he was shook about it. So
So what is your mindset? What are you thinking going back to school? That's a lot. That grieving is a lot. My
yeah,
my grandfather died my junior year of college, and it completely shook me up.
yeah, it'll get to you. I'm sorry. Um, but yeah, it'll get to you. That's for sure. It's hard to think about because then you start to worry a little bit, like especially with something like that. Like we didn't know or we didn't know very much about it, and so like we was all like trying to figure out what was going on. Some of me and some of his other friends. So like for a little while, when I did go back to school, I didn't really sleep much. So I was up a lot. Actually, after I found out, I started actually like going out to I guess parties a lot afterwards because like just to find a way to stop thinking about it. uh, so yeah, that was a tough time.
And so, are you still talking to friends and family at home during this process, or are you really just trying to delve into Liberty and make it West Liberty and make it the best possible experience? Like, are you missing home? Are you really trying to,
Yeah,
blow up West Liberty?
no, that's when it really hit about me missing home. Yeah,
Did you think about transferring?
yeah, I did. I thought about it. Um, I think I think me missing home a lot kind of messed up the opportunity up there at West Liberty, because that's when I started doing bad for myself, like grades wise and stuff like that. Yeah, that. I mean, everybody thinks football is just all physical and everything, but at the same time, you still have your own life. You still, at the end of the day, like you go home, you still talk to your friends, still talk to your family, and them being like 7, 8 hours away, that's I wouldn't see my family for 3, 4 months. Um, so like I think I was just too young for that.
And also maybe not developing that same type of support base where you are.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Because you didn't have that grounding in
yeah.
Liberty, West Liberty. And so with that being said, when did you actually start the process of saying, like, I can't do this anymore, I've got to move back? I need, when did you identify I need that support?
So sadly, I realized it too a little bit too late. Um,
Why too
so I
late?
wanted to give it a. So I did. So I went home for summer, and like I thought that was enough for me. Like I could do school again. I thought I could go back up there and and I'll be all right this time. Like I'll make things better, and I did. So it wasn't until after my sophomore year that I realized I need to be back home. I need to be closer to home. Um, so after my sophomore year, I didn't go back to West Liberty. I set out to, I think, a year and a half. I set out a year and a half doing at a community college. So I still wanted to graduate school. That was always one thing I wanted to do for my mom, is to graduate school, because she still um, that was the biggest thing for her. She was like, "You better still make sure you graduate school," and I made sure I graduated. Um, so I did my 2 years of community college, and then I was like, "All right, I want to play football again, but this time let's stay closer."
Were you in shape? What'd you do over the 2 years to stay shape while you were at the community college?
Um, I used to, yeah, I used to work out. I took at the community college, they offer a whole bunch of different courses. So I took a weightlifting course actually. I took a weightlifting class and a volleyball class. And outside of that, me and my friends that stayed around here, we would work out like at local gyms here. So I was able to stay in shape. I actually got a lot stronger while staying at home than I was. So
Stronger mentally, physically, what?
all around, honestly, all around.
So
But
sometimes taking that break or that breather to readjust, realign can
mhm.
actually help build you up and make you stronger than you were before.
Yeah, yeah. That those 2 years was huge for me, I think. If I didn't have those 2 years away from everything, I think I wouldn't be where I am today.
Wouldn't be where
Those
you
two
are today, physically, mentally, employment,
all
where?
around, all around, like pushing my able to like push myself, both mentally and physically, like push myself through different things that are going on through life. I think I wouldn't be, yeah, all around, I would be not the same person I am today if I didn't have those 2 years.
I think one of the toughest parts that I hear from athletes over and over again is that there is this thing where you have to, stick your chest out, and for girls, put your big girl panties on, and for men, you can't show weakness and all this other kind of stuff. So while you're trying to present this bravado, what happens is you lose sight of how deep the pain may be, or how, or how heavy the weight may be, because you're being strong for others, maybe, and maybe not true to yourself. So being home, some of those external pressures you probably didn't have to cope with, right?
Yeah.
Like making sure that you fit in, and making sure you go to parties, and making sure you socialize, maybe where you didn't want to socialize, or where it wasn't a natural fit. So you took some of those layers off so that you could work on the core and build up the core and strengthen in the core. And once again, what I hear from some athletes is they don't get that opportunity. They aren't the independent thinkers like yourself to say, hey, wait, you know what? Put on the brakes. I need to build me up, because I have nothing left to give. You can't give from an empty cup. You can't pour from an empty cup, right?
Yeah.
So having that opportunity to do that and taking that breather is phenomenal, what you're saying. So you took the breather, and you're saying, I want to go back to school. And they're saying, go Rams, go Rams, go Rams, get busy, right? You're with Salem State. That's what they're saying.
Yes.
Raise the roof, right? Trying to raise the roof, and you're not going with the roof.
No,
you're not going with the roof. What are you doing?
Not.
What are you thinking? How are you selecting the school that's going to continue to build you up, to strengthen you up to be your best?
So I had, at that time, since I had set out 2 years, so I didn't have as many options as I did before. So this time I had Fayetteville State, Winston-Salem State, and then Elizabeth City. So I didn't go on the visit to Fayetteville State. I don't know what it was. I just didn't feel like that was it for me. So I went on the visits to Winston-Salem State and Fayetteville State. So
Elizabeth City State.
Elizabeth City State, my bad. So I went on my visit to Winston-Salem State, and I already knew about the campus and everything. I got to meet the coaches, and themselves, like after hearing my options, they was like, oh, he's definitely coming here, just like everybody else thought. Oh, he's definitely coming here. They started getting my shoe size, they started getting my pant size, my jacket size, all that stuff. Started sizing me up for everything, telling me where I was going to be at and everything. Like they just knew where I was going to be at. Like I was going to choose here. But when I went to Elizabeth City, they treated me, my family, and another one of my friends I went on a visit with to there. They treated me like actual family, and that did it for me. Like I felt like if I was going to be anywhere, I wanted to be like I wanted to be respected, both like not just for what I can do on the field, but for like me as a person. Like I wanted to be somewhere that was going to take me somewhere in life. After football, it wasn't just. Football was a big thing. I still wanted to, just like any young kid, wanted to get that shot at the NFL or anywhere. But at the same time, I knew, like, hey, there might not be a chance. So what are you going to do after football? Are they going to care about you after football? And I felt like Elizabeth City, with the coaching staff that was there at the time, I felt like that was an actual family. I even still talk to some of those coaches that got me to the school. So that's what did it for me, was the recruiting staff at Elizabeth City, talking with them. I just felt like that was home. That's where I went.
And after everything you've gone through, you probably really wanted that home type of environment. I mean, you know what it's like to be away from home, and wanting that kind of that family, like I said, family support, familiar support to get to the next level. So, so I saw like I said, I saw your tape. I saw you doing the jump.
Yeah,
Um,
that was that was a good time.
what, how did you get introduced to indoor football, or what made you think about joining the indoor football league?
Um, I just started getting like phone calls. I don't know where it came from. Honestly, like after after my senior year and after like the combine and everything, I started getting phone calls from different teams, not even just like the team in Charlotte. There was a team in Iowa. There's another team in Texas. There's teams like all over the U.S. For like IFL that wanted me to come and play for them. I honestly don't know where that really started. I know there was one person who helped me decide where to go and like how to look at contracts. It was actually a guy from Elizabeth City that I played with. His name is Winston. He played in the league for the Jets, and then he played for
And for the New
IFL.
York Jets?
Yeah, he played for the
You know,
Jets.
that's my team. You know, that's my
Really?
favorite team. Oh my God. My
Oh
dad
wow.
and I, when I was little, we always watched the Jets. And I don't know if you know this guy, his name's Eric McMillan, but he dated one of my
Okay.
friends. You know who it
Mhm.
is?
Yeah.
Okay, he dated
Too
one of
bad.
my friends, and my dad's like super duper, or was, he's deceased, was super duper nerd, you know, financial analyst, by the books, etc. And but very smart, very quick on his toes, you know, in conversation. And she brought Eric McMillan to the house. My dad's
He
like,
freaked out.
my dad kept talking. It was so funny because we are huge Jets fans. Okay, you got to tell him about this, and you got to tell him that I got to interview him since he played for the Jets. So
Yeah,
that
sure. I'm
I'm
sure he'd
sorry,
be
I
up
had to
for
interrupt right there. When you say Jets, I'm interrupting. That's it. All right. Now you can keep going. So
it.
so he's introducing you to the paperwork.
Yeah, he introduced me to the paperwork. He introduced me to actually some uh he gave me a bunch of contacts. Like he has a ton of contacts, and he gave them to me and like I talked to a lot of people about where if I'm trying to go to league work, what my next step should be. Because everybody said I had film and stuff like that, but everybody wants to see you in person. And so that's very hard, especially coming from a smaller school. So he told me here, start here first, and then um, go from there. And so that's what I did. Different contracts are like you you really got to read the fine print. Like I think it's like 25 to 50 pages of stuff.
Holy
Uh,
geez. So
yeah,
you need an attorney.
yeah.
You need
So
an
I had an
agent.
agent. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's what. Yeah, so he sent me a bunch of agents to look at, like, and he sent me NFL agents, Canadian agents, IFL agents, just to call them and talk to them. He said you can't be in your shell or anything. You got to talk to them like you mean business. Like this is a business industry. You have to mean business. It, uh, like you can't come to them without your player profile. He showed me how to set up a player profile. Showed me how to really introduce myself. Like, hey, Brian Wells, I did all of this stuff. I want a shot. Like, he told me how to get their attention, and honestly, it helped. Um, I could have went to any of those places because of him. Uh,
There's nothing
so
like a mentor.
yeah, yeah.
Nothing like a mentor. And
So
so you wound up choosing one, right?
mhm.
Okay, so you wound up choosing one. Did you go to the practices?
Yeah, actually, I went to a good bit of the practices. I want to say about 10, 10 to 15 of them.
Okay.
But I wanted to finish school, so that also affected me, my playing time, because he was like, it's one or the other. Like, if you're gonna be here, be here. Like, um, like I don't care if you have school. If you want to play, you need to be here for all the practices. So it didn't matter if I outperformed some of the other guys there. I still needed to be there, and he didn't care.
It was presence, and you need to be present.
Yeah.
So if you, so you did this, and so what happened? You finally decided what?
I finally decided, like, hey, this isn't for me. Like, I'll wait. The amount you get paid for the indoor didn't outweigh a career outside of football for me. So I went with coaching football over playing. So that was the end of my playing career.
Coaching at your high school, not
Coaching at Parkland. Yeah.
So did you start off just coaching, or did you substitute teach, or anything in between, or what?
My coaching at Parkland got me the substituting job at Parkland. So substituting in Winston for South County. So I did both at the same time.
So what do you think of substitute teaching?
I didn't think it was going to be like that. I was like, yo, these kids are different from when I was growing up. Like if they sense you're BSing them, they're gonna call you out.
Oh,
Like,
yes.
yes.
Yes. So
A lot of these kids are straightforward nowadays.
I love it. That was my favorite part of substitute teaching. I did it for 2.5 years because I really wanted to find out. I don't like, so one of the things my dad grew up very, very big on was you do not stereotype people. You do not give people boundaries. And so people were continuously saying that this group of kids can't excel and this group of kids can't do this, but they were only looking at one environment, and you can't look at one environment. That's like saying, I know New Jersey, and I can tell you North Jersey, Central Jersey, and South Jersey are 3 completely different areas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You talk about, Baltimore, different parts of Baltimore is not all the same. You talk about Philadelphia, Girard Avenue and Moymunson are completely different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So because of that spectrum, I know there's a spectrum of kids, what I wanted to do was I wanted to substitute teach to find out. And it was the most rewarding experience of my life, because kids will tell you, they will call you to the carpet. I'm going, and kids would be like, a lot of the schools liked me, so I would teach for 2 to 3 weeks. Once again, I'm trying to find out why kids are not ready. Why are they not excelling? Why are they not reaching their full potential? And in this discovery of readiness, right? I'm 80% planning, 20% doing. So I want to know that I know. The kids were funny to me because I would walk in, they'd be like, I'm not going to do that work.
Yeah.
Because when I come to school, everybody does it. Well, I'm not going to do the work, Miss Jones. I'm telling you, can sit there and you can tell me whatever you want to do, but I'm not going to do the work. And then by the end of the class, they would do the work, because I would not allow my kids, because remember, I'm doing 2 to 3 week assignments. So I had to come back the next day. So I would not allow my kids to move forward to whatever it is that they wanted to do until they finished the assignment. Exactly. So, I had some kids say, look, I'll put my name on the paper, I ain't gonna do the work. Oh, you'll do the work. You'll do it. I'm not doing the work, Miss Jones. And it was the most rewarding experience to get beyond those walls and help people see that they can do it, because a lot of times it's fear of failure.
Yeah.
And what happens is people who teach, what I found is some of the people who were teaching were only teaching from one style.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, my parents, I prided myself in my parents just making me do all kinds of environments. Like, I grew up in Parsippany, New Jersey, which in my elementary school, I was the only African-American. And when I was in high school, there were 16 out of 1,700, 16 African-Americans out of 1,700 students. But my parents also allowed me to go to, East Orange, which was like probably 90% Black, which is where I lived until I was age 10, and Passaic, and where there were some rough things going on there, which I don't need to talk about, but they allowed me to go to different environments and be around different people, so that once again, I would not only think one way. So when my kids came at me, no matter how they came at me, because I taught all throughout Wake County, right? Mm-hmm. I could be versatile in my teaching approach, versatile in engaging them, So yeah. I was watching the other day, Billy Crystal was doing an interview, and he said he started off substitute teaching.
Oh wow.
You know, this comedian, he started off
I
substitute
didn't think
teaching.
that.
And what he said was those kids, the classroom experience gave him material for the stage. And also what he would do is he would try out his, his routines with the kids in school. So he knew if he couldn't get past the kids, he was not going to make
He
an
was gonna
audience
make it
laugh,
anywhere else.
you
Yeah.
know? And it's so true, because like they're not going to let you get away with anything, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
so that
That's
gave
pretty
you
cool.
real world experience, substitute teaching, right? Because you don't have a relationship, you don't have a name. I mean, you have to go in there, you have to be on the spot, you got to get it, you got it, etc.
Yeah, if you're
How did
not
that
on it,
help
they're
you
gonna
with
know.
coaching? I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, like you said, like if you wasn't on it, then you was gonna have a rough day in that class. I found out like a while afterwards, like after I had left from teaching one class, and like that class needed a long-term sub. So if I had left and went to a different class, they put somebody else in there. So I wouldn't struggle with that class, but another sub would, because at the same time, like if you go in there and like, hey, you need to get this done, this, and done, and then you can do whatever. Like you can, like if you want to do something else, all right. So I was subbing, long-term subbing for an art class. So I would have an art assignment for them to do, like one or two assignments for them to do. And then like if they wanted to, just relax for a minute, okay, that's fine. You want to talk to your friends for a minute, okay. But if you weren't doing your assignment, you was just sitting there talking and doing whatever, hey, like I'm not, there's no time for you here. Like, and that's honestly how I treat my football players. If you come to practice, for at practice, I have a set things for you to do. Uh, if you can't get those set things for me done, then like I'll see you later. Like on to the next kid. Time to let somebody else try. You don't want to give your full effort into something you can be good at, then why should I give you my full attention? Let me give the next kid my full attention. And then he might just be having a bad day that day. So after I finish with my segment and my individual time with them, and I see we're going on to the next thing with the team, I would pull them aside and be like, hey man, like normally you're good, normally you're on point and everything. What's going on today? And then, you would try to form some kind of connection with that kid. And honestly, high school, that's what I think is mostly about, is forming those connections with the players.
Because
Because like,
as you build their self-esteem, right? Then they're
yeah,
going to give you 100%. Because right now, I'm in between middle school and the real world, and the bottom, or college, real world, the bottom. And the thing is, when I go out there, I'm not going to be, like you said, around family and friends and etc. to encourage me. So I need to know what I have and what I'm capable of, so that when I get out there, I'm more secure in diverse environments, around diverse people, etc. Because the real world is, there are diverse opportunities and diverse complexities.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and majority of the real world is not going to baby you. Like, so you need to get what you can out of it. Like, that's what I'm always trying to teach my kids. Like, whatever opportunity you get, work hard for it. Like, take advantage of that opportunity. Don't let it go by and then regret it. Honestly, what hurt me the most this year is I had one kid that I've coached for the last 4 years, and he took a year off in high school for whatever reason it was. And then his senior year, um, because of COVID and everything like that, he didn't really take it serious this last year. But his last game, he took it the most serious. He took advantage of it and played his heart out. And he came to me after that game, and he cried on my shoulder, telling me how sorry he was he didn't take advantage of the time he had with me and everything like that. That honestly, that hit home. I was like, man, you just don't know. Uh,
And so what is he doing now?
Now, I mean, he's graduating this year. A lot of people didn't think he was going to do that. The way the turn he took. A lot of people didn't think he was going to be able to graduate. He's trying to go to college. I think he just got his acceptance letter to St. Aug.
Okay,
So,
okay.
so I mean, that's more than a lot of people in his family. A lot of people in his family barely make it out of high school, yet alone get accepted to a college.
Wow.
So that was huge for him. So
Huge for
it
him and
was,
huge for you. Go
yeah.
Coach. Huge for
So
you and
that,
huge for him. That is awesome. And yeah, and that validation is going to take him a long way. Like I
mhm.
said, when he gets to the next level. So let me ask you something. You were talking about difference and stuff like that. I have to ask you this question before we end.
Okay.
So because you are a big guy, do you mind my saying that?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, you're a big guy, bigger guy. I always find that when there's a big guy or a bigger guy, that they always have this one mouthy friend that they have to protect all the time.
Oh, Jesus, yes.
Talking jump, and then they have a big guy behind them. So do you have at least one mouthy friend? I don't know if you can tell us a mouthy friend story, but do you have at least one mouthy friend, or can you share a mouthy friend story?
Yeah, actually, I got one from high school, schoolish. So we had this one kid in a neighborhood. He was kind of sort of a bully, and so my friend, like my best friend of like since we was in elementary school, he was just talking junk to him this one time, just running his mouth, and then the bully just like he like stepped at him and like he started talking junk to my friend and like he pushed him, and I was like, hold on now, like I'm still right here, like hold on now.
And the bully's
And
like, I'm
then
sorry.
yeah, so that was the last time we saw him. But yeah, and till this day he still talks a lot.
Yeah.
Jeez, he talks a lot. Yeah,
He
he's
said,
still my best friend. I'm pretty sure he knows who I'm talking about. He's
he
gonna
said,
hear this story. He knows what I'm talking about.
he said, I ain't going nowhere without Brian.
Yeah. Yeah.
So without Brian, Brian, you want to meet? Brian, you want to go to Harris Teeters?
Yeah,
I feel it in me. I feel like I'm going to talk junk today. I think I'm going to talk junk today. Brian, what you doing? Let me treat you to lunch.
yeah, that's how it is. That's how it is. Where's my backup?
So there are perks. There are perks to your size. So
Yeah.
Is there? We're talking about independent thinking and the benefits of independent thinking. I mean the benefit of finding the college that best suited you. You know, with regards to Liberty was the college that best suited you because it got you in your best shape. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you lost weight, you learn tricks to the trade that you can even use now as a coach. You know,
Yeah.
you were an independent thinker, you did community college, but during that time period, you found your own training mechanism to make sure you stayed in shape, to make sure you could continue playing after your 2-year stint.
Yeah.
Then after that, you went to Elizabeth City State University, which was suited best for you because it provided that family environment, that nurturing those friendships that you still have today, right? Then you have a player who did his, he was his independent thinker. He needed that time away. You know, whether, even though he wasn't performing and he wasn't doing the things that were expected, that may have just been his time away and his reprieve, just as some people need it, you know, and you know what? Praise God, he took the time out now, you know, while he's in high school, and that can be forgiven, you know,
Yeah, exactly.
or you know, not be as much of a weight as him going through that post college or during college, etc. So you know what? He's an independent thinker. He made his way, and he's had you to help coach him along, right?
Mm-hmm.
what can you say to other independent thinkers out there, people who are in high school, people who are in college, who have a notion that something's not right? You know, they need more, but they're not sure how to move forward or move into that independent thinking. What would you say is needed to help people do what's best for them? You know, find their best pathway.
If if you're well, okay, so I'll start with the college athletes. If you're a college athlete, like don't just look at it as it like where's it going to get me in my professional career? Like if you're trying to play professionally, great, like that's awesome. But as well, look at um, yes, look at the coaching staff and how they actually treat you compared to other coaching staff. Look at the academic wise. Are you going to be able to go to class? Like go to class, pay attention, or is it too big of a school for you to go to? Because not everybody can just go to a class of 100 people and pay attention and get your education that you need. Um,
So it might even be good to see if when you're going on these tours, to see if you could
mm,
possibly go to a class
yeah,
and
sit in
take
a class or
notes
something.
and see if you can really take notes, sustainable notes, or notes that are going to help you
Exactly,
along the way. I mean, can you really learn in that particular environment? So
exactly.
I know when
And,
my daughter was like, I don't know, like 14 years old or something. I mean, young, 13, 14
Mhm.
years old. And I snuck her into a UNC class, a new UNC lecture.
Yeah,
There was the art building on UNC's campus. And my daughter did start taking class at UNC at age 14. So it must have been younger. It must have been when she was maybe like 12 or 11. But one day I took her on campus with my two sons. I pushed my two sons, one son in a stroller, and I was walking with the other son. And I told my daughter, I said, "Here, take this pen and pad. Go in this building. We'll find the first classroom that's open, and I want you to take notes and tell me what it's like." And so when she was like, I don't know, maybe like I'm guessing it was like 12 years old. It was something like that. She went and took a class at UNC Chapel Hill, and she came back and brought me the notes. And I had her explain to me what she learned. And when I knew that she could, properly explain it to me and that she took good notes, that she had it.
yeah, exactly, exactly. That's all. Like I going from student athlete to a regular student, like a regular student should do that as well. Like go to see what kind of classes you like. Um, not everybody's gonna learns the same way. So like what you did was perfect. Like I wish all parents would do something like that, or all students would take their time out and do something like that. Because I
Right.
think honestly, because you're going to school for the next 4 years, and you have to attend classes for the next 4 years. You're not if you can't do it now, how are you going to be able to do it later on?
Brian, I'm gonna give you my daughter's phone number, and I want you to call her just before my birthday. My birthday's in October. But you call her just before my birthday and tell her that what your mother did was perfect. All right. I'm gonna get. I'm not. Look, I'm writing that down right now. Give Brian Blake's number in October so she can call Blake up and tell Blake that her mother was perfect. Keep going. We gotta stop for these moments. But go ahead.
Yeah. So like those are the biggest things. Like if you're going to be there for 4 years, so don't just think about it about the short term, like it being a short term thing. Like 4 years, it's a long 4 years. It's a long short 4 years. Make sure you enjoy it, but make sure at the same time you get what you came for. So honestly, the like you said, for anybody watching this video or anything, go see a class, go actually like look at the school for the school and not for all the extracurricular activities, um, all the sports and everything like that. Look at what you're going to the school for. Um, so that's what I would. That's my biggest advice.
Excellent. Excellent. So, Brian, let me ask you: are you involved in any community programs in Winston Salem right now?
Actually, I just got involved in one recently. Push 21.
Huh?
It's okay.
Tell us about it. Tell us about it.
So right now with Push 21, I'm helping with the sports part of things. So I'm gonna teach them some new sports like not only basketball, ultimate frisbee, try to get some badminton, some different sports people really don't know about involved in that program. Also, they also help out with um, tutoring, tutoring different classes. They help out with your faith because it's actually at a church. So if you have some questions, there's somebody there. Um, but that's what they mainly do. It's like an after school, kind of sort of like an after school program, but really helping push kids to getting through school and also creating creating new families, meet new friends and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. So that's what I just got involved with.
If someone listening wanted to, and this is in Winston-Salem and it's a community-based program, I'm guessing.
Hmm.
Okay. If someone wanted to get involved, help, give back, support, maybe even be like a guest lecturer or motivational speaker or something like that, just to help kids along the way. I'm quite sure there are, some Winston-Salem State fans may listen to this podcast, or some residents or whatever that may not know a lot about the program or may know the peripheral, or just like I said, may not even be aware of it. How can anyone help? How can anyone get involved?
Actually, I think we're taking like any kind of volunteers, any kind of like donations, because we also sometimes feed the kids. Like our first day for like a welcoming thing, we had a pizza night. We had pizza and movie night. We introduced them to the different things and activities we're gonna have for the first night. So I do believe donations are welcome as well, but also just support and spreading the word about us. We do K through 12, so it's all types of kids. We had to tell you a little bit about the different kind of kids we had. We had 3 to 4 kids in high school. Two of them two of them from Parkland, one of them from a different school. We had some middle school kids, we had some elementary school kids. So just any kind of support would be great.
So how do they support? Is there a phone number? Is there an email address? Is
Oh,
there a website that you can share?
I think you can find the best way to find us is on Facebook.
Okay.
Just search is Push 21. So
PUSH8. I mean P. Lord, here we go. PUSH. The
mhm,
number
20,
2. The number 1.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
If I had a link, right, I didn't even think he was going to say anything about asking about that, so I wasn't ready with a link or anything.
Well, what I will do is, and my kids just gave me this word, I think it's called timestamp. So what I do for every single video is in the description, there is in the description, there is like a table of contents, a timestamp. So what I will
Okay.
do is in that area where I put contact, the contact information under the timestamp, if you send me the link, what I'll do is I'll make sure that that link is listed in the timestamp so that they will
Okay.
have it. Okay.
We can do that.
All right.
Mhm.
Now I'm doing something for you. Don't forget about my daughter. Don't
Oh,
forget
I won't.
October. Don't forget about my daughter. Now don't be playing games. So
I won't forget.
let me ask you this, Brian. We've covered a lot during this conversation. Is there anything in particular that you think that the listeners might also want to hear that you were not able to share or that we didn't cover during this time period? Anything whatsoever?
Um, I mean, we probably cover it, but I just want to re-emphasize it. Um, if there's something you want to do out there, it doesn't matter what it is. It can be something outside of sports. It could be honestly anything. It could be something small, start your own business, anything like that. Even if you want to be a manager at a local business, push yourself to do it. Like do the research. Uh, don't let the small hardships or the time frame like hurts you or push you back, push yourself through it, keep motivating yourself, find ways to motivate yourself. And if you need the time, if you need some time to step back, okay, that's cool. But if you really want that in life, come back to it. Like motivate yourself, push yourself. That was the one thing that got me where I am today. I always wanted to be somebody. I always wanted to be looked up, be looked up to. So that's why I'm here where I am today.
Well, Brian, phenomenal job, phenomenal stories. I thank you so much for everything.
Mhm.
So what I'm going to do, Brian, is I'm going to uh, talk to you shortly
Mhm.
just to review everything. But once again, thank you for everything. And I look forward to talking to you soon, Brian.
Okay,
All
sounds
right.
great.
Take care.
You too.
Hold on one second. Let me see. How do I do this? Don't laugh. Uh, be kind to the old folks. Hold on.